Zoho CRM is a CRM tool, which is a customer relationship management tool. So, CRM is classically used by a sales team to manage their sales process. So, ideally, what a CRM does is it makes the salesperson's job easier and helps them do their job. And then, as they do their job, they generate information which is used by management to do their job, which is to manage the sales team and to determine outcomes. So the way that the CRM does that is that when a salesperson starts the sales process, so classically the sales process starts with a lead. So a person walks into your storefront, a person sends you an email, they fill out a form, you receive a referral, you meet someone at a networking event. In some way, you establish that initial contact with a person, and that's where the CRM comes in, and you put in the basic information about that lead. So you can, where they work, what their contact information is, all the qualifying information. So the way Zoho CRM is when it comes out of the box is it has a very sort of broad base of information that you can collect. So, things like date of birth, title, phone, category, assistance contact information, fax, website. Most industries, you're not going to collect all of this information. In fact, one of the first things you do when you start to customize the Zoho CRM is you prune away all of the fields here that the salesperson doesn't need to be using, so that's not information that's useful in qualifying a contact in your particular sales process. The second thing that you can do is then add in things. So if your sales process involves a specific type of information, so your customers work in manufacturing and you want to know if they are the kinds of materials that they are collecting. So maybe they deal with hazardous materials, or maybe they are dealing with food or something like that. The kinds of information that you collect is very industry specific. So you might care a lot about what a customer's dog's name is, or what their legal status is, or what how large their organization is, where they're located. There's a lot of different information that different types of industries need, and the power of the CRM at the most basic level is that you can collect any information you need, and you can put it in specific places. So you don't just have a big notes field where you plug in all of the information. You have specific fields where you fill in information, and then you can report against it, or you can search your database for that specific type of information. Okay, I want to know customers in this industry in this city, we're going to send them a promotion, that kind of thing. And that's the power of a customizable CRM like Zoho, is you can create the sales process around your particular industry. Now, other things you can do with the CRM is you can create what's called blueprints. So basically, you want to sort of establish a process for your sales. So you create what's called a lead nurturing process. So you gather information, then you try to contact them. Once you've established contact, you establish that they're a good contact and you qualify them, or you establish that they're not interested and you mark them as a lost lead or a junk lead. That's a fairly basic lead blueprint. And so the way this manifests within the salesperson's world is that when they access their prospects, they will have buttons associated with each of those potential transitions. So that's not showing up here right now, but what you would see would be a button up at the top here, and I could say, okay, this person's now qualified, or this person is a junk lead, and that would immediately convert that lead to that step in the process. And so if you said, okay, this person is a converted lead, then you might convert them to a contact. Or if this person is pre-qualified, this is the information I need to pre-qualify. And you can, within the CRM, you can dictate all of the stuff that you want to go on in the background there. So, for example, when the person goes into the lead nurturing process and they establish contact, you can say, okay, before they can say they've established contact, they have to have entered some contact information, because if they don't have an email or a phone number, how are they establishing contact? And then during that change, you can create requirements. So it says you have to make notes, or you have to create a validation around that, or something like that, in order to pass through. And then after that transfer, you can say, okay, once you've pre-qualified a prospect, now the system will automatically create a task for you to have a meeting with them in 2 days, or talk to your boss about this, or make a phone call to thank them for the agreeing to meet with you. And then you can have other tasks associated with that. And then you can also have automations. So you could say, okay, I want to, I want to automatically send an email to the customer to thank them for agreeing to meet with me, or whatever that stage is. Or I want to automatically send a post to my internal events that will show that I have a meeting with this client on this date. Whatever sort of ancillary needs you have around those transitions, you can create automations to do them for you. So you're taking work off the plate of the salesperson. The salesperson necessarily knows what's going on with their prospect, and they need to go into the system and engage with it and sort of say, okay, this is what's happening now. But then the system can take that cue and do all of the things that are automatic, that might require in a unassisted process, a salesperson might have to remember to do themselves. In the CRM process, those things can take place automatically alongside whenever the salesperson is sort of confirming information. And that way you get you don't miss any of the critical steps that you want people performing. And then also you can get good information. So another really powerful thing about having a CRM is the reporting. So you can have reporting to the individual salesperson. So this shows the salesperson, and again, this is the vanilla version of the dashboard. It can be changed, but this shows the salesperson what's going on today. Okay, I have all these tasks that I need to do, and that they were all due last week, so I'm in trouble. And then I have these meetings that are coming up or that I've missed, and I need to deal something about that. I have these open deals. I have untouched deals. What are my calls today? All of these information that is generated by my following these processes, or not following them in some cases, I get these reports. And then further up to that, the manager can get reports on this same data. So the manager can see, okay, of all my salespeople, how many of them have overdue tasks? Okay, user Smith is way overdue on a bunch of tasks. I need to have a sit down with them and work with them to fix that. Or they missed a bunch of meetings with customers. That's a serious problem. Or maybe they're not putting the data in the system. One of the bugbears of all CRMs, as far as I know, is the gap between the data in the system and what's really going on in the real world. And one of the ways you address that is by having good reporting. You can say, okay, well, you have all these tasks that were due last week and you didn't mark them as closed. I know you actually did them. Why aren't you marking these as closed? So you can address that training issue, or again, you can loop back to the CRM design itself, and you can say, okay, well, clearly we're creating a bunch of tasks for you that you're not clicking on. So we either need to stop that process so we're not creating all this junk data, or train people better to click on their tasks and mark them as completed. So there's a lot of things that you can generate out of the reporting, and One of the things that good reporting does is make itself better by sort of enforcing the activities that generate the reports. Now, if you're only using your CRM as a backstop, as at the end of the day, the salesperson goes in and enters all the information about all their contacts for that day. That's not a great way to use it, because salespeople forget, and they also, they might fudge the data. They might get 10 leads, but they close one, and the only one they put in the system is the one they closed. So now they have a 100% closing average. That's not great data. The way you address that is by having a CRM that actually helps the salesperson to do their job. Because when it helps them, when it makes their life easier, then they are more likely to use it, and then you get better data. And then you can use that data in a sort of a virtual cycle to improve the process further. So the first step in that is making the CRM into a tool that the salespeople do not see as a extra work at the end of the day. It has to be something that is part of their job and also helps them do their job. So that's a really important thing, and that's something that you can do with the CRM, with all of these automations and blueprints and helpful reporting. So that is, in a nutshell, what Zoho CRM does and what it can do in the sales process.